Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. So as I'm sure most of you are well aware, I have completely rinsed redesigning all the F1 2021 liveries. I thought they came out alright. Generally speaking, there is a video in the pipeline. You'll see. But the problem is, I've still got that itch to scratch. I love doing the livery redesigns and I want to try and create some kind of long-lasting content around it. So I'll come up with the idea, we'll see if this works as a series going forward, hopefully, where I basically speculate what if a new team joins Formula One, whether it's an old team that used to exist in the sport coming back, or whether it's a brand new team that, has never existed. How could that realistically look, both in terms of personnel and in terms of the aesthetics? So what I would appreciate is if you could let me know in the comments below any suggestions on old teams you'd like to see back, realistically returning, by the way. So we can't have Minardi, for example, because they still exist as AlphaTauri, you know what I mean? As well as like automotive brands who have never been in Formula One before. So let me know in the comments, help me out, please. So for this video, I've identified 4 different areas that I want to flesh out to try and make something that's like half realistic. As time goes on, I'm sure I'll add more, right? So we've got the car itself, livery and engine. We've got the drivers, we've got the team principal, and we've got the driver overalls as well, because they're as much of a livery as the car itself. And with Race Sim Studio finally dropping their F1 2021 car with the nice slim nose rather than the fat Ferrari wedge, this was a lovely excuse to learn the new template, jump back into it, and start making some more liveries. But of course, if any of the creative stuff we're doing today interests you and you'd like to learn how to do it yourself, today's video sponsor might interest you. And I'll keep saying it because it's true. If anyone asks me they want to learn graphic design, the first thing I say is get a Skillshare membership. Skillshare has thousands of vetted courses in graphic design, animation, creative writing, music production, photography, marketing, entrepreneurship. I could go on. And one course I'm absolutely buzzing to jump into is Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, my favourite tech guru. He's dropped an 11-part course totaling about an hour 14 minutes in total, covering all of the basics to starting a YouTube channel essentially, from the creative production point of view. I can tell you're interested, I can see it on your face. Well, first 1,000 people to click the link in the top line of the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So get on it quick. Thereafter, it's like $10 a month, which is about just over 7 quid, I think, which is, come on. For the amount of value and resource that you get, it just makes so much sense. All right, so let's start with a team. Not that I need to, because you can see from the title what team I've picked, but whatever. I put the call out on Twitter for what team you'd love to see back in Formula One, what classic team you'd like to see back. And the name that stuck out to me, first and foremost, there were many great suggestions, but Lotus. The British automotive brand first appeared in F1 in 1958 with Jim Clark and Colin Chapman slapping the field up, let's be real. And the name hung around in F1 till 2015 when Renault bought the Lotus F1 team, rebranded it to Renault from 2016 onwards. Lotus have always been a niche sports car brand. I've always wondered with brands like that, like, how do they actually make any money? Because I don't see many Elises or Exesias driving around. I know they do like corporate days and a customer racing division, I guess, as well. But in 2017, Chinese automaker Geely, I'm going Geely, acquired a 51% controlling stake in Lotus. And Geely is the company that owns Volvo, Polestar, and a 9.7% stake in Daimler. Yes, that Mercedes Daimler, that one. But anyway, enough about Geely. Let's get into the Lotus. Let's start with the power plant. Now, of course, the Daimler connection, you'd think, Tommo, makes sense to stick a Mercedes power plant in it. Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I'm sure Geely could flex and get Toto to stick the engine in there, but I'm going with Renault instead. Why? Well, Geely are also in bed specifically with Alpine. As of this year, they're working together on electric performance cars. I guess kind of how the new Toyota Supra is kind of a BMW under the skin, I guess, maybe? I'm not sure. But whatever, there's definitely a technical relationship there, specifically between Alpine and Geely. So bringing Lotus and Alpine together, it just makes sense. Next, we have team principal. Who's calling the shots? Who's leading this new green and yellow team? Well, we all know a man who was recently relieved of his duties, knows the Renault engine inside out and will be greatly missed from Drive to Survive Season 4. I'm of course talking about Cyril Abiteboul. I know Renault didn't achieve their goal of like regular podiums by 2020. They did get a few. But in hindsight, I don't think he did a terrible job. I think he's a solid team principal and I think he'd be a great fit at Lotus. He knows the paddock, he knows modern Formula 1 and he knows how to wind up Christian Horner, which I am very much here for. Alright, driver time. Now, new team, you need a steady pair of hands, someone with experience and knowledge who's going to jump right in and give a lot of value to the mechanics and the people behind the scenes, right? Because this is a brand new team, remember. This isn't buying an old team. This is from scratch. I have elected to go for Romain Grosjean. Now, he had his best years in Lotus in like 2012, 2013. He was flying. He was quality. I know more recently his performances haven't been at that level and he's got a lot of stick from me included. I've not been very kind to Romain over the years, but I don't think he's been at that level that he used to set. But what I do think is him coming into a new team without the baggage that was Haas, I think he'd do a great job. Do I think Nico Hülkenberg would be quicker? I mean, on track, yes, I do. But again, when you consider everything and you consider the Lotus-Romain connection, it makes sense. And then alongside Romain, I'm going with Guan Yu Zhou. Superbly talented, no doubt there at all. Like multiple F2 race winner. Is he the best driver in F2? Arguably not. But again, Geely connection, Chinese company. I think Geely would want to make Guan Yu the first Chinese Formula 1 driver of all time. And of course the Alpine connection, his Alpine Driver Academy, Renault would be supplying the engines. It makes sense. George Russell is a Norfolk-born lad, and obviously Lotus are based in Norfolk, so that would be cool. But we know he's got Mercedes written all over him. All right, now for some actual design. Let's start with the driver overalls. What are they going to be clobbered out in? Here we have my pièce de résistance. Is that even the term? I don't know. Base green, yellow hits, big Geely on the front, big Lotus. We've got Renault with a new logo. Huawei sponsorship on the side. Obviously Chinese phone company. Shout out Winchy for that idea. Gone with the Retro 8 number on Romain's leg. I think that works really nicely. You'll see it more on the car. Lynk & Co. That's again part of Geely. Geely own loads of brands. So they'd have loads of brands they want to chuck at this. I put Mind Maze on the sleeves as well because that's Romain's sponsorship. And yeah, I think these overalls are really smart. To be fair, overalls always look good on renders, but in real life, as long as the fit's good, as long as it's not like Kimi's overalls, which seem to be like, they look like pyjamas because they're so bloody baggy. And then what I'm sure you've all been waiting for, the livery. Of course, we've got the base Lotus green, which for me is a nicer green than the Aston Martin green. And then you've got the bright yellow, makes sense. Heavily inspired by the early 60s Chapman Clark Lotus with the numbering. You've got the circular 8. Team Lotus on the side as well with the line, the yellow line coming out of it, which is again a reference to the original car. I've not straight up copied the big yellow, kind of stripped down the straight, because I want to make it modern, but just kind of referencing back without straight copying, you know what I mean? I did ask you lot via Twitter and YouTube community suggestions and sponsors, and obviously 9 out of 10 of you with the great banter were like, Rich Energy. Great joke, very inventive. Bearded Katie Hopkins isn't getting anywhere near this car, all right? Richard Mille on there because they sponsor a lot of teams in F1. And also Bernard Matthews, little shout out, little in the corner, because they're a big Norfolk-based brand. They're like a farm food brand, right? And also, big up Norwich City, pride of Delia Smith and East Anglia. If Chelsea can sponsor Sauber, all right, on that horrific 2012 car, then Norwich City can sponsor Lotus. In fact, Lotus actually sponsor Norwich, so they'd just be returning the favour. And there we have it. The 2021 Team Lotus. I'm sure Geely would want to shoehorn their name on the front, Geely Team Lotus, but no. Team Lotus it is. We're sticking. The drivers, Romain Grosjean, Guan Yu Zhou, with Cyril Abiteboul as team principal. The overalls much better than Aston Martin's green number, I hasten to add. And their lovely little Renault-powered green Goblin. What a treat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. This was good fun to make. I'm looking forward to making a bit of a series out of this. If you want that to be a thing, then make sure you like the video, because then I know. And don't forget to let me know down in the comments what you want to see next, what old teams you want to see coming back, what new teams you want to see. And again, try and make it realistic. who could actually feasibly come back to Formula 1. To be fair, the more I looked into this and the more I looked into Geely and Lotus, and I feel like this could happen. I think Lotus are a much more feasible entrant into Formula 1 than the vast majority of other automotive brands, but I guess we'll see. Big up to Skillshare again for sponsoring this video. I do appreciate it. Do check them out. You won't be disappointed. My name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.